Hi, everybody. It's January 31st, 2026. Um, Trying to select your experience by doing things or avoiding things. It's like trying to order your life sometimes is an act that is futile. And that's not because we can't direct our lives and go through life the way that we want to. It's just that our our reach of control is limited to actual internal and nearby, so to speak, uh, reaches. So if you want to, let's say, if you want to make more money, you're going to have to move yourself closer to those resources, and they may not be within your reach, but moving yourself proverbially to closer to more opportunities requires you to shift your existential reach. And it's very hard to determine how to do that because you don't necessarily know when opportunity is going to arise and if it's going to pan out. So you have to try different things. You have to attempt, and that's how you increase your reach, is by to attempting to reach out uh, in certain directions, and then things were either attached to you or they were detached or they would stay out of your reach. But it's the intention and the reach towards the different opportunities that increase your proverbial reach in this kind of nuanced or ephemeral kind of reality. So that is just to say that change is basically a change in your spiritual position where you are relatively to opportunities, relatively to personal relationships, relatively to uh, inspiration and wisdom and knowledge. So that gets me to thinking about internalizing voices. And to start off on a baser level, uh, one of the types of voices that we internalize is criticism, because criticism is so loud and it's so provocative because usually we innately don't have criticism about us that we count as much because we know that we're looking from the inside out, and people that are looking from the outside in are voices that you believe are looking from the outside in. You believe that they see more of you or they see things that you don't see of yourself. So when you hear voices of criticism and you internalize those voices of criticism, they seem to be uh, kind of concretely the truth. But that's not the case. The case is that uh, it attaches to your insecurity. And so whenever you sense that you are deviating or making mistakes, this internalized voice of criticism speaks out and it grabs your attention and it kind of unnerves you or it kind of diverts you from your intended path or your intended goals. So the best way to deal with an internalized voice of criticism is just to balance it with honesty. And that's the beautiful thing about honesty, is that honesty is not necessarily always the worst truth. It's not always the worst fact. Honesty is being able to clearly see what is actually happening inside of you and outside of you. So when you balance the internalized voice of criticism with honesty, picking away those negative kind of triggers, it empowers you. Once you pick those negative triggers out the way that are just there to immobilize you, you start to gain kind of a authority over your own voice, over your own internal dialogue. So just balancing out the criticism with honesty and the bravery to look at yourself plainly is the best way to counteract the effects of an internalized voice of criticism. Another internalized voice is I guess you would call it scarring. There are times we can't avoid negative events that scar us. And so an internalized voice of scarring is basically apprehension about trying things that have came out to your detriment in the past, a fear of things repeating, patterns repeating. Internalized the scarring voices could be manifested as just a unwillingness to step out on a ledge and do the jump if you have to. And the best way that I counteract the voices of scars is that you have to get tired of staying in the same place. You have to get tired of eating the same proverbial spiritual food and the same stimuli. When it becomes stale, you have to have the motivation to move yourself out of that area of experience. And that's what the internalized voice of scarring does. It keeps you in a certain area because you are afraid to push those boundaries out the way or push them out further so you could travel further. So it is just being highly aware of your holistic need to expand, to go to different areas of life and to learn more. That will counteract the imbalance of what the internalized voice of scarring does. And the last internalized voice is something that may cause problems for more for others more than others, is the voices of your parents during your childhood. It is quite obvious that we change as we grow older, and the voices of our parents that set the foundation for the voices inside of us for our lives, for the rest of our lives. Those were created by our parents or parent. And I'm not saying that they necessarily gave you bad advice or gave you bad direction, but for some people, the voices of our parents internalized kind of puts us on a leash as we are older. Like we have internal habits and behavioral habits that we have developed under the guidance of our parents, and some of those aren't needed as we get older, as we get to the age where we have to do things on our own for our own sort of set of problems and business. So dealing with the internalized voices of our parents is we have to switch the viewpoint around to trying to understand what they were trying to tell us when we were younger. And once we decode how they were trying to guide us and why they were trying to guide us, we could kind of work it out to let go of what does not serve us anymore and to remember what does serve us, and it helps us go further in life and experience a life where it is of our own, it's our own story, it's our own timeline. And just and the best way to do that sometimes is to be grateful for what your parents did instill in you and just let it be there, but not let it be the end judgment of what you should do in particular situations. So I hope this helps. Thanks.